Welcome to U.S. Briefing. The content of the briefing includes Democratic Congressman Dean Phillips to announce presidential challenge to Biden on Friday. The two killings of Craig Robertson. Pakistan court declines bail to Imran Khan in state secret case. Homicide suspect who escaped from Washington, D.C. hospital is captured. Airlines caution Israel-Hamas war clouds travel outlook. Democratic Congressman Dean Phillips to announce presidential challenge to Biden on Friday. Yahoo! Minnesota Representative Dean Phillips is set to challenge President Joe Biden for the Democratic presidential nomination, according to two sources briefed on his plans. The 54-year-old politician is due to launch his candidacy on Friday. However, he is not seen as a serious threat to Biden, given the president's support within the party and reshaping of the nominating contest calendar to protect him from early challengers. The two killings of Craig Robertson. Yahoo! The fatal FBI raid of a Utah man's home in August has become a prism through which to view two competing narratives about the state of the country. Some mainstream media outlets emphasize the man's extreme rhetoric and cache of weapons, while conservative talk show hosts and cable news programs focused on the government's extreme behavior. The man, 75-year-old Craig Robertson, was killed during the raid, which took place after he made threats against Democratic political figures on social media. Robertson's friends and family say he was an overweight retiree who was not a threat to anyone. However, federal law enforcement is tasked with determining which individuals who engage in violent political rhetoric are actually dangerous. Threats against public officials have increased in recent years, and law enforcement agencies are struggling to deal with the rise in threats and inappropriate communications. Pakistan court declines bail to Imran Khan in state secret case. Yahoo! A Pakistani court has denied bail to former Prime Minister Imran Khan, who is currently detained on charges of leaking state secrets. Khan is accused of making public a classified cable sent to Islamabad by Pakistan's ambassador to the U.S. Khan denies the charges and claims that the content of the cable appeared in the media from other sources. The former Prime Minister has been at the center of months of political turmoil in Pakistan, with the military's influence over civilian politics coming under scrutiny. Homicide suspect who escaped from Washington, D.C. hospital is captured. Yahoo! A man who escaped from a hospital in Washington, D.C. more than 6 weeks ago has been recaptured. Christopher Haynes was arrested in Oxon Hill, Maryland, near Washington, D.C. by a U.S. Marshals Service Regional Task Force. Haynes had fled from George Washington University Hospital on September 6 after being arrested in connection with a murder. He had complained of ankle pain and was taken to the hospital where he was being handcuffed to a gurney when he attacked an officer and escaped with one handcuff still attached to his wrist. Haynes will be charged with the murder and the escape. Airlines caution Israel-Hamas war clouds travel outlook. Bloomberg. British Airways parent IAG SA and Air France-KLM have warned that the Israel-Gaza conflict is impacting travel in the Middle East, as customers avoid nearby destinations. While most airlines have halted flights to Israel, some travelers are also staying away from neighboring countries like Egypt and Oman. IAG CEO Luis Gallego said the group would maintain its Q4 forecast but is monitoring developments closely. The conflict comes as airlines face challenges including cost of living pressures, higher interest rates, geopolitical difficulties, and the continued closure of airspace over Ukraine, creating a more difficult environment going into next year. Salvadoran leader makes re-election bid official. Yahoo! El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele has filed paperwork to run for re-election next year, despite concerns over his constitutional eligibility. Bukele, who enjoys strong public support, announced last year that he would contest next February's presidential election. Critics argue that Bukele is prohibited from seeking a second term under the Constitution, but the country's top court ruled that he could run in 2021. Bukele's popularity is largely due to his crackdown on violent gangs, which has resulted in a significant drop in crime. However, some rights groups argue that his policies violate due process rights. Novo investors seek clarity on Wegovy weight loss drug shortages. Yahoo! Investors and analysts are awaiting Novo Nordisk's Q3 results announcement next week to see if the company reveals when supply limits for its weight loss drug, Wegovy, will end. Novo has struggled to keep up with demand for the appetite-suppressing drug, which has been successful in the U.S., causing it to restrict the number of patients who can start treatment. The firm's share price tripled since the drug's June 2021 launch, making Novo Europe's most valuable listed company worth $437 billion. Wegovy is also now available in the UK and Germany, but supply is limited. Ashley Hatch, USWNT draw with Columbia in Utah. Yahoo! The United States women's national team drew 0-0 with Colombia Thursday at America First Field in Sandy. Former BYU Cougar Ashley Hatch almost put the U.S. on the board with a shot that was blocked by Colombian goalkeeper Natalia Giraldo in the 74th minute. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the six-dimensional world, bringing you the latest news and updates from the world of politics, crime, international relations, and more. Strap in and prepare for another roller coaster ride through the headlines. First up, we have Democratic Congressman Dean Phillips throwing his hat into the ring for the presidential race, challenging none other than President Joe Biden himself. While Phillips might not be seen as a serious threat to Biden's candidacy, it's always interesting to see some healthy competition within the party. Let's see if Phillips can bring some fresh ideas to the table. In a tragic turn of events, the fatal FBI raid of a Utah man's home has sparked a debate about the state of the country. Mainstream media and conservative talk show hosts seem to be focusing on different aspects of the incident, highlighting the opposing narratives that drive our society. It's a reminder that there are always multiple sides to a story, and it's up to us to seek the truth. Moving across the globe, former Prime Minister Imran Khan of Pakistan finds himself in hot water, as a court denies him bail on charges of leaking state secrets. Khan claims innocence, stating that the information was already in the media from other sources. It's a classic case of he said, she said, and we'll have to wait and see how this political turmoil unfolds. Back in the U.S., a homicide suspect who escaped from a hospital more than 6 weeks ago has finally been recaptured. Christopher Haynes managed to evade capture for quite some time, but justice has caught up with him. It's a reminder that no matter how far you run, you can't escape the long arm of the law. In the world of travel, the Israel-Gaza conflict is impacting airlines, with customers avoiding nearby destinations. Even countries like Egypt and Oman are feeling the impact. It's a tough time for the aviation industry, with various challenges and uncertainties on the horizon. Let's hope for clearer skies in the future. Shifting gears to politics, El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele is making his re-election bid official, despite concerns over his constitutional eligibility. Bukele has gained popularity for his tough stance on crime, but critics argue that his policies violate due process rights. It's a delicate balance between public support and constitutional limitations. On the business front, investors and analysts are eagerly awaiting Novo Nordisk's Q3 results to see if they address the supply limits for their weight loss drug, Wegovy. Demand has outpaced supply, causing restrictions on patient access. It's a good problem to have for Novo, but they'll need to find a solution soon to satisfy their investors and patients alike. Lastly, in sports news, the United States women's national team had a draw with Colombia. Ashley Hatch, a former BYU Cougar, almost scored a goal but was blocked by the Colombian goalkeeper. It's a reminder that even the most skilled athletes face challenges, and sometimes victory is just out of reach. And there you have it, folks, a roundup of the latest news from around the world. As always, these stories remind us of the complexities and unpredictability of our world. So, what are your thoughts on these stories? Do you have any burning questions or insightful comments? I'm here, Dr. Six, ready to engage in a lively discussion with all of you. Let the conversation begin. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.